There has never been a time when John Travolta did not have the ability to win hearts, whether he was on or off the screen. His romantic life has never been dull, beginning with his days as a young Hollywood star and then with his marriage to Kelly Preston, which has lasted for many years. The ladies he has dated range from senior actresses to gorgeous co-stars. He has dated women of different ages. His supposed relationship with a co-star has recently generated a lot of excitement among his followers in the year 2024. The dating history of John Travolta is full of unexpected twists and turns. And more recently, his children have revealed something astonishing about their father. We want you to join us as we investigate his love past and the latest allegations made by his children. From New Jersey roots to Hollywood stardom. On February 18, 1954, John Travolta, the youngest of 6 children, was born in Englewood, New Jersey, which is a neighboring suburb of New York City. He was the youngest of the Travolta children. His mother, Helen Cecilia Travolta, was an actress and singer, and his father, Salvatore Sam Travolta, had a career as a tire salesman after playing football at the semi-professional college level. Every one of Helen's children, including John, who was raised in a family that was full of theater enthusiasts, was inspired by Helen's enthusiasm for the theater. While John's mother was of Irish origin, John's father was of Italian descent and had Sicilian roots. In spite of the fact that John was brought up in a society that was mostly Irish, he eventually converted to Scientology in 1975 when he was 21 years old. After attending Dwight Morrow High School, John left school at the age of 17 in order to follow his ambitions of becoming an actor. In the beginning, he relocated to New York City, where he was able to get parts on Broadway in musicals such as Grease and Over Here. Early performances like this laid the groundwork for his big break. After deciding to further his acting career, John relocated to Los Angeles in the year 1972. However, his first important film job came in 1976, when he played Billy Nolan, a bully, in the horror thriller Carrie. His first on-screen appearance was a small one in the television drama Emergency. During this period, he was also cast in the character of Vinnie Barbarino in the television comedy Welcome Back, Kotter, which aired from 1975 to 1979. This role was essential in his rise to fame. It's interesting to note that his sister Ellen also made appearances on the program very often. After his performance in the film Welcome Back, Kotter, Travolta's career began to take off. Following that, he made a speedy transition from television to film, eventually becoming a starring man in Hollywood. The performance he gave in the 1977 film Saturday Night Fever got him a nomination for an Academy Award in the category of Best Actor. He acted in other successful films as well. His performance in the 1978 film Grease solidified his position as a cinematic star, and the music went on to become a great commercial hit. As a matter of fact, John continued to flourish throughout the 1980s with films such as Blowout, 1981, and Urban Cowboy, 1980. Nevertheless, his career was not without its obstacles. Even though he had a few films that were not as popular as others, he made a tremendous return with Pulp Fiction in 1994, which earned him another nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actor. Undoubtedly, his portrayal of Vincent Vega in this Quentin Tarantino masterpiece remains one of the most unforgettable performances he has ever given. From the beginning of his career till the present day, John Travolta has been honored with a multitude of accolades and nominations, including a Primetime Emmy Award and a Golden Globe Award. His work has garnered him nominations for a BAFTA Award, as well as 2 Academy Awards. Get Shorty, which was released in 1995. Broken Arrow, which was released in 1996. Face Off, which was released in 1997. A Civil Action, which was released in 1998. Primary Colors, which was released in 1998. The General's Daughter, which was released in 1999. And Hairspray, which was released in 2007, are some of his other important films. On the other hand, Travolta did not limit himself to acting. In addition to that, he is a gifted singer-songwriter. 9 albums and 4 singles have been released by him. and all of them have made it into the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100. One of his most well-known musical works is perhaps the soundtrack of Grease, which reached #1 on the Billboard 200 chart. In addition to his work in the entertainment industry, did you know that John is also a pilot for a private company? He has a deep love for flying and is the proud owner of a number of different planes. This activity is simply one more illustration of the wide range of interests and abilities that he has. In addition to skill and a little bit of Hollywood magic, his narrative is a remarkable combination of hard work and talent. Now, however, that is not the end of Travolta's narrative. Additionally, he has been quite the heartthrob, having been in a number of high-profile partnerships. Let us have a peek at his very interesting dating history, shall we? John Travolta's early romances and heartbreaking loss. When it comes to his romantic past, John Travolta has had an interesting and sometimes terrible experience. He had a few relationships that were significant while he was just beginning his career in both the theater and the film industry. In his younger years, he had a romantic relationship with the Broadway actress Anita Gillette. In 1976, they had a short relationship. Despite the fact that not much is known about their relationship, it was a brief romance that lasted for just a few months at most. Even though his relationship with Anita Gillette had come to an end, Travolta was able to find love once again, but this time it was far more profound. With Diana Hyland, his co-star in the television movie The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, he started a romantic relationship. When they first started dating in 1976, Travolta was just 23 years old and Hyland was 41 years old, which was a significant age difference. The fact that Hyland portrayed the mother of Travolta's character in the film did not prevent the two actors from falling in love with one another apart from their on-screen performance. In 1977, Travolta's connection with Hyland was the subject of widespread media attention. Regrettably, a tragic event brought an end to their love tale. Hyland was diagnosed with breast cancer, and despite the fact that they had a great connection, she went tragically in his arms in 1977, only 1 year after they began dating. The news of her passing had a profound impact on Travolta. While they were in the midst of shooting Saturday Night Fever, he had hurried to her side in order to be with her for the final minutes of her life. Travolta has expressed his affection for Hyland, referring to her as the girl he has loved the most in his whole life. During an interview with People magazine in 1977, he said, "In my entire life, I have never been more in love with anyone. There was a time when I believed I was in love, but I was not. The instant I laid eyes on her, I was immediately drawn to her. On the set of Bubble, we were like two crazy people who were always chatting to each other. By the end of the month, it had become romantic. When I was with Diana, I had the most fun I've ever had in my whole life." This demonstrates how profoundly he felt about her, and how their relationship was characterized by happiness and a strong sense of connection. Furthermore, he claimed that prior to his encounter with Hyland, he had doubts about his ability to ever have a good relationship. And here's the strange thing, just before we met, I was certain that I would never be able to have a relationship that was successful. When I asked her about it, she admitted that she had the same notion. Then, all of a sudden, their encounter and the ensuing relationship seemed to be practically predetermined, giving both of them bliss that they had not anticipated. Despite the fact that they were happy, the time they spent together was excruciatingly brief. As Travolta struggled to maintain a healthy balance between his growing profession and his personal life, he made it a top priority to be with Hyland during the latter days of her life. When she began to experience a decline in her health, he made the decision to return to Los Angeles from New York, where he was shooting Saturday Night Fever, in order to be by her side. In spite of the fact that their love affair was short, it left an indelible mark on Travolta. Later on, he disclosed that they had intended to move in together and be married at some point in the future. Even though they only spent a brief amount of time together, this demonstrates how serious and dedicated they were to one another. For Travolta, the passing of Hyland was a huge loss since it was the first time he had experienced profound romantic love and the terrible loss of a loved one. More casual encounters and romantic relationships. a year after the death of Diana Hyland. John Travolta rekindled his romantic relationship with his close friend Marilu Henner in the year 1978. In spite of the fact that they had first met in 1974 while acting in the musical Over Here, their relationship did not begin until after they had formed a friendship when performing on Broadway in Greece. Travolta and Henner reportedly had a relationship that was intermittent from 1978 till 1989, as stated by Famous Fix. As Henner described in an interview with KLTA, the bond between them was an extremely powerful one. "He is a wonderful human being," she said. "I adore him. Due to the fact that we all had 3 sisters and 2 brothers, our families were extremely similar, and we were able to bond with one another immediately. His mother was a theater teacher, and my mother was a dance teacher. I was a car salesman, and his father was a tire salesman. Now, we have a lot of things in common. They were able to form a strong connection because of their common history. They were even said to have lived together and had been engaged at one point in time, according to gossip. Their romance lasted for 13 years, during which time they alternated between being together and being apart. The fact that Henner never stopped speaking well of Travolta, despite the fact that they finally went their separate ways, demonstrates the enduring regard and respect that they had for one another. A short affair between John Travolta and Catherine Deneuve, a French actress, took place in 1980 when Travolta was in the middle of his engagement with Henner. It has been reported by Famous Fix that the two were seen together on many occasions throughout this time period. Even though their relationship did not last long, it brought a touch of European glitz and glamour to Travolta's resume of romantic relationships. The fact that Travolta's romantic life was full of highs and lows throughout the late 1970s and early 1980s is shown by this fact. He was able to demonstrate his propensity for profound and significant relationships via his long-term relationship with Henner, while his short romance with Deneuve added a fascinating chapter to his tale. Brooke Shields and John Travolta's love was a Hollywood PR stunt. In 1981, Hollywood was abuzz with the news that John Travolta was dating Brooke Shields. Travolta was 27 years old at the time, while Shields was only 16 years old. The age disparity caused some to raise their suspicions. However, the actual narrative was even more unexpected. There were allegations that Terry Shields, Shields' mother, orchestrated the relationship between Travolta and Shields for publicity purposes. Brooke's mother exercised considerable control over her daughter's professional trajectory. Brooke was under the impression that courting high-profile celebrities would maintain her fame. Shields had already garnered attention for her controversial portrayal in the 1978 film Pretty Baby, in which she portrayed a young girl who was coerced into the sex trade. Travolta, who was already a considerable celebrity, was recognized for his roles in Grease and Saturday Night Fever. Some speculated that the publicized relationship between Brooke Shields and John Travolta was designed to attract media attention. Travolta contacted Terry Shields to inquire about the possibility of taking Brooke out to dinner, as reported by the Washington Post. Despite the fact that Brooke was not typically permitted to date, her mother recognized a significant public relations opportunity and consented. Travolta's film Blowout and Shields' Endless Love were both scheduled for release at that time. The timing was ideal for a media uproar. Nevertheless, their relationship was exclusively platonic. Brooke disclosed in her memoir, "There was a little girl, the real story of my mother and me," that her mother orchestrated numerous of her purported romantic relationships. Terry Shields sought to elevate Brooke's professional trajectory by associating her with influential and renowned figures. Brooke wrote that she did not prioritize romance, let alone love, but rather sought to associate me with names that symbolized power, wealth, and fame. Travolta and Shields established an authentic rapport despite the contrived nature of their relationship. Travolta expressed his admiration for Shields in an interview with People magazine, stating that their relationship was founded on mutual respect and affection rather than romance. Terry Shields also advised Brooke to establish relationships with other luminaries, including Michael Jackson and George Michael. She was in awe of their renown and their kind dispositions. This approach was effective in preserving Brooke's public image, despite the fact that it was not founded on genuine relationships. Shields also addressed her transition to genuine relationships in her autobiography. At the age of 22, she lost her virginity to actor Dean Cain, a stark contrast to the planned affairs of her adolescent years. Shields' complex relationship with her mother, which had an enduring impact on her personal life, was a contributing factor to some of her relationship difficulties. In her 2014 memoir, There Was a Little Girl, The Real Story of My Mother and Me, Shields addressed every aspect of the situation. As People magazine once stated, this quote perfectly sums up their relationship, a carefully planned PR stunt that turned into a true friendship. Brooke Shields eventually transitioned to genuine romantic relationships. In 2001, she married Chris Henchy. Rowan and Greer Henchy are the daughters of the couple. Travolta discovered genuine love with the woman with whom he would spend the next few decades of his life after his PR-fueled romance with Shields. The couple would experience a long and affectionate marriage. However, were you aware that a significant number of individuals doubt Travolta's sexual orientation? John Travolta, on addressing rumors about the acclaimed actor John Travolta, whose career has spanned decades, have persisted. The media has often questioned his orientation despite the fact that he has dated several well-known women, including Taxi actress Marilu Henner and Broadway icon Anita Gillette. When Douglas Gotterba, a former pilot for Travolta's aviation firm, Alto, claimed to have had an affair with the actor in the 1980s, the accusations took a legal turn in 2014. Gotterba even had plans to create a book detailing everything about their purported connection, using a cease and desist letter and a confidentiality agreement. Travolta attempted to stop him. Even though the court sided with Gotterba, the book never made it to print. In 2017, Travolta responded to these accusations in a Daily Beast interview. He added that this kind of rumor is the Achilles heel of every star and that it stems from people's desire for money. Travolta said that because he has no control over what is published in tabloids, he often disregards the rumors. When the rumors started including his family, however, he had his limit. With the death of my son, I found it most offensive, he said. He thought it was excessive of the media to link the rumors to his personal grief. A few celebrities from Hollywood have also remarked on Travolta's. Star Wars actress Carrie Fisher said that everyone in Hollywood was aware of it and didn't care. She said, "We don't really care that John Travolta is gay," in a 2009 Out magazine editorial. She went on, "It only draws more attention to it when you make that kind of legal fuss." In a subsequent interview with advocates, simply let things alone. However, Kirstie Alley, Travolta's co-star and close friend, vehemently refuted these reports. "I know John with all my heart and soul." Alley, who co-starred with Travolta in the Look Who's Talking films, said to Barbara Walters of ABC News, "He is not homosexual." She clarified that if a well-known Hollywood figure stays out of controversies, rumors about them begin to circulate. Travolta was also referred to by Alley as the greatest love of my life. They didn't act on their sentiments since they were both in other relationships at the time, but she acknowledged that it took all of her resolve not to run off and marry him. Even in the face of these constant claims, Travolta has shown fortitude. He has made the decision to put his family, his work, and the people who really know him first. Kelly Preston and John Travolta, a Hollywood love story. One of Hollywood's most lasting love tales, starring Kelly Preston and John Travolta, started out as a set romance on an obscure film. Their encounter during the 1987 shooting of The Experts, a poorly received comedy, ignited a unique bond between them. Kelly described meeting John as her fantasy come true, even before they met. She had said that Travolta was her celebrity infatuation. Kelly was ending a difficult 2-year marriage to actor Kevin Gage, whom she subsequently acknowledged wasn't the right fit for her when they first met. She briefly dated George Clooney after her divorce, even briefly moving in with him. Kelly then had a brief engagement with Charlie Sheen, during which he proposed with an incredible 25-carat diamond ring. However, that relationship too ended abruptly. leaving Kelly unmarried and ready for a committed relationship. She began dating Travolta shortly after, and that's when it became true. John quickly came to the conclusion that Kelly was the one for him because of their obvious connection. John proposed to Kelly on New Year's Eve 1991 over dinner at the Palace Hotel in Gstaad, Switzerland, using a 6-carat ring set with yellow and white diamonds. Look Who's Talking to producer Jonathan Crane said that Kelly yelled with excitement and disbelief, absolutely taken aback. Close friends and relatives were aware of the couple's unique bond. In 1991, Kelly's mother, Linda Carlson, informed the public that after her daughter's previous relationships with macho men, John was the perfect match for Kelly since he was gentle, caring, and giving. This was genuine, folks, not just another Hollywood flirtation. Kelly said to Entertainment Tonight that they intended to have a family shortly after becoming engaged, so they also had long-term goals in mind. Kelly Preston and John Travolta's tale demonstrates that, despite a string of unsuccessful relationships, love may strike out of the blue. They proved that everything simply clicks with the right person and that a lovely, long-lasting relationship can ensue. In 1991, the pair wed in a stunning ceremony at the Hôtel de Créon in Paris, only a few months after being engaged. However, it did not satisfy them. A week later, in Daytona Beach, Florida, they conducted another wedding ceremony to make sure their love was appropriately honored. Their love journey was only getting started when they brought Jet, their first son, into the world in 1993. The family that Kelly and John had increased during the next years. Ella, their daughter, was born in 2000 and quickly gained her parents' affection. Kelly and John maintained their professional schedules while raising their 2 children. While Kelly acted in films such as What a Girl Wants and The Cat in the Hat, John appeared in pictures such as Swordfish, Ladder 49, and Lonely Hearts. They managed to find time for their family and each other in spite of their busy schedules. The Travolta family did not hesitate to share the limelight. They demonstrated to the public that their love was real by often bringing their children to red carpet events. Their true, affectionate connection held them together through good times and bad, but they also had to deal with unspeakable grief. John Travolta's biggest heartbreaks. Tragic events befell the Travolta family in 2009. Their 16-year-old son Jet passed away while on a Bahamas family vacation. Jet suffered a fatal brain injury as a result of a seizure. When he was barely 2 years old, he was diagnosed with Kawasaki illness and had a history of seizures. John attested to Jet's autism and her frequent seizures. He discussed Jet's illness candidly, particularly during the trial of 2 people who had threatened to reveal confidential information concerning Jet's death in an attempt to extract money from him. John and Kelly were devastated by Jet's loss. According to family lawyer Mike Ossie, John was devastated and said that burying your kid was the worst thing you could ever do. Even with such deep law, the family managed to get by. John gave appreciation to Scientology and his close family for getting him through this difficult period. John founded the Jet Travolta Foundation, a charity dedicated to supporting kids with exceptional needs, in honor of Jet. The Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy and the Simon Wiesenthal Center are only 2 of the organizations that the foundation has funded. A fresh light entered their life a year after Jet's passing. Benjamin was the son that John and Kelly brought into the world in 2010. John informed everyone that Benjamin gave their house a new lease of life and a purpose. 3 children were now part of their family. Benjamin was born in 2010, Ella Blue was born in 2000, and Jet was born in 1992. Jet unfortunately died away in 2009. Kelly and John had ups and downs, but their love never wavered. They often shared adorable images on social media as they celebrated significant birthdays and anniversaries. Every picture and public appearance they had together appeared to show how happy and steady their marriage was. Nevertheless, Kelly received a breast cancer diagnosis in 2018. After 2 courageous years of fighting, on July 12, 2020, John broke the devastating news on Instagram. "I must tell you, with great sadness, that my lovely wife Kelly has lost her 2-year fight with breast cancer. With the affection and support of many people, she bravely battled for her rights. Kelly's age was 57. John was in unbearable anguish. He discussed his experience of grieving in an interview with Esquire España. He underlined the need to give oneself permission to mourn, drawing a comparison between failing to appropriately process one's emotions with many boats falling to the bottom of the ocean. He said that although support from others at a time of mourning is beneficial, it may sometimes take the form of assisting others rather than putting one's own recovery first. Thus, while Kelly and John's love story was full of elegant occasions, special times spent with family and mutual passions, it also had its fair share of difficulties. But despite everything, they were there for one another and had a lovely family. John felt a great gap in his life after Kelly's passing. He characterized Kelly as a brave warrior who was surrounded by love and support at all times. Their children and the humanitarian endeavors carried out in Jet's honor carry on her legacy. One of Hollywood's most heartwarming love stories will always be Kelly Preston and John Travolta's. It's a tale of unwavering love, bereavement, and optimism for fresh beginnings. Travolta, struggling with love after Kelly Preston. Since the passing of his wife, Kelly Preston, what has John Travolta's path been like compared to before? As far as I can tell, it has unquestionably been characterized by profound pain and personal problems. Kelly was Travolta's wife for a total of 29 years, as you can see. Additionally, ever since her passing, Travolta has had a difficult time moving on with his life and welcoming new beginnings. With that being said, Ella and Benjamin Travolta, Travolta's children, have stated their wish for their father to find love once again. It has been reported by a source from In Touch that the children are eager for him to begin dating, but Travolta has been reluctant to do so. He often asserts that his children are the most important thing in his life, and that he is not yet prepared to explore a new romantic connection. It was said by The Insider that everyone wishes for him to find happiness and to fall in love once again. Nevertheless, Travolta seems to be hesitant to move on, despite the fact that it has been over 4 years since Kelly is said to have passed away. Both Travolta's life and his career have been profoundly impacted by the death of Kelly. Travolta has become less committed to his religion and has taken a vacation from performing, according to the same person who discovered this information. According to what they mentioned, John has not been involved in anything that he is really enthusiastic about. Not only that, but it seems that his religious beliefs are no longer the most important thing to him. It is a struggle for Travolta to open up again and to be vulnerable, as he himself recognized. It is difficult for him to confront his sadness, but he believes that it is necessary to do so. It was stated by Radar Online in February of 2023 that Travolta was still having a difficult time coming to terms with the thought of dating again. Because he felt that he was still married to Kelly at the time, he was under the impression that he would never date Kelly again. John continues to believe that he is married, and he has said that he will remain faithful to Kelly until the day that he passes away. According to the article, the fact that Travolta continued to speak about Kelly on a regular basis made it difficult for him to go on with his life. The source continued by saying that since their lives were so linked, it was extremely difficult for him to move on. He believes that continuing to date someone else would be a betrayal of Kelly's memory. They went on to say that while it is unfortunate, John has effectively made a commitment to be celibate for the rest of his life. Nevertheless, there have been indications that Travolta could be thinking about a new romantic relationship, despite the fact that he is reluctant to date. According to a story that was published in January 2024 by the International News, Travolta was considering the possibility of meeting a new spouse with the assistance of a professional matchmaker. According to a source close to the situation, Travolta was looking for a partner who had a remarkable personality. An explanation was provided by the source that he is searching for someone who is spontaneous, nice, kind, cordial, and hilarious. Meanwhile, it has been stated that Travolta continues to take into consideration what Kelly would have desired. He is under the impression that she would not want him to remain by himself for an indefinite period of time. Taking a look back, it is simple to comprehend why Travolta finds it challenging to initiate romantic relationships. Travolta's most recent known relationship, which ended in 1989 with Marilu Henner, came to an end before Kelly. They had a sporadic relationship from 1978 till 1989, during which time they appeared in films such as Perfect and the television drama Chains of Gold together. The profound connection that Travolta had with Kelly made her death very difficult and distressing. Is Travolta dating again? Everyone is trying to find a solution to this mystery. Rumor has it that in the year 2024, John Travolta and Kristen Davis could be dating. Although it has not been officially acknowledged, there is said to be chemistry between the two. Their collaboration on the film Cash Out sparked suspicions. Closer Weekly reports that onlookers noted how utterly enamored John seemed with Kristen. He has been gushing about her intelligence and beauty to his pals. Kristen, on the other side, thinks John is hilarious and a great man. Plus, their mutual acquaintances think they're perfect for each other and that John may be passing up a wonderful chance if he doesn't act soon. Their chemistry is supposedly undeniable, and fans can't wait to see whether their romance develops further. Is John Travolta's potential new relationship something you're interested in? On the other hand, is he clinging to the idea of Kelly Preston's love, and this is simply another rumor? Put your 2 cents in the comments and hit that subscribe button for all the latest videos.